Welcome. Today's video I'd like to do a quick review of this new product. It's the Altouris Technical Base Layer. It's a merino wool blend base layer that's made for motorcyclists. Let me run through some of the features. It's got a full length zip to make it easy to put on and off. It's got a nice high collar, lightweight hood. It's got removable sleeves, thumb loops. It's a nice stretchy fabric and a generous cut for those not so athletic. Look, I've been testing this for a good month or so now. I've been wearing it the whole time, both on and off the bike, and I've got to say it's really good. Merino wool, if you're not familiar with the benefits of that, it's largely odor resistant, it's moisture wicking, it has excellent temperature regulation, it's just comfortable to wear, it's a sustainable source as well. It's just a really good thing. I've been a big fan of merino wool for a long time. The socks I wear motorcycling are exclusively merino wool. You can just wear it for days on end before you have to change socks, which is a big bonus. Yes, I've been a big fan of merino wool for a long time. This base layer really just takes up to the next level, I think, with its features. It's also got mesh under the arms too. So yeah, so let's talk about it a bit more. How these features relate to the bike. You know, the thumb loops is really good. So if you're putting a jacket or another layer over the top, it stops the sleeve from, going up the arms. I never ride like that. I just put the jacket on and then once it's on, I take off. The cuffs narrow in quite a bit, which is great. So it reduces the amount of bulk of material around your cuff. And then they've got a zip here to make it a little bit easier to put on, get it over your hands. The zip off sleeves are great. If it's really hot and you just need that extra ventilation, you can take that off, then it works well as a t-shirt as well. Again, the full length zip makes it so much easier to put on and off rather than wrestling it over your head. The material under the arms, it's a very lightweight mesh synthetic, which you can really feel when you've got the vents open on your jacket and riding along. You can feel the air going through there, which is nice. Same as the hood. It's not a wool hood, it's a mesh synthetic. Very light, and yeah, it's very nice under the helmet. The good advantage is, see, lately I've been wearing a buff under my helmet anyway, because the back of my neck gets burnt. This solves that by putting it on, keeps all your back there out of the sun. The only thing too, I have real problems with earplugs staying in my ears, and I find when I put my helmet on, they invariably always get dislodged. I've been wearing a buff for that, and stops that happening. The good advantage is I can just now use my hood with the same purpose, and it does the job. As I said, I've been using this off the bike as well. Recently I was down at Phillip Island for the MotoGP, and I just wore this, and it was great. The temperature was sort of like mid-20s, felt quite warm in the sun and with the wind. So I just, had the hood, and actually had the hood under my hat, which is great because the sun was coming from the back, and I didn't burn, and it was just a comfortable temperature to wear. If I did get a little bit hot, I just unzipped it a little bit, got the ventilation, and it was fantastic. On that thought, if you're into hiking, which I am, this would make an excellent hiking top, because you can regulate the temperature, you can zip it open, you've got the hood to keep your sun off. All the great features that make this work well for a motorcycle actually work well for hiking. I dare say you could probably use it for other things as well. So yeah, just a comfortable thing to wear. If you took this top on a multi-day ride, you probably wouldn't need to wash it. Wool doesn't retain odours. If it does, you can usually just drape it over your bike outside, and the sun and the air just naturally deodorise it anyway. If you're doing a multi-week ride, then yeah, you're probably going to need to wash it. But I would time it, if you got an early day or even a rest day, give a bit of a wash there, and yeah, it'll work well. Of course, no product is perfect. There's a few things, I won't call it a dislike, but they're a compromise, and I'm coming around to it. First is the black colour. I'm never a really great fan of wearing black when the sun's out. It can get a bit too warm. However, a few years ago I did buy a merino wool top in yellow, which I thought would be a great idea at the time. And what I found is that it ended up getting stains under the arms, and I don't know whether that's my body oils or whether it's the deodorant I use. The stains couldn't come out, and basically that top is unusable, well, out in public anyway. So that is something that the black would solve. So I get it. I get why black is probably the best colour for for this type of thing. The other thing is the fabric under the arms is the synthetic material. Now that can become a bit smellier before the wool, and that is something to keep in mind. I was umming and ahhing about that, but I sort of realised again it's a compromise. If you had wool under the arm, it would be warmer. This mesh material, you can feel the ventilation, and ultimately makes it a cooler garment when you want it to be. So I think I'm willing to trade that off and have the mesh material, because for me it makes it a more usable garment than if it was just wool. The downside, of course, is the underarms. Well, for me anyway, and it might just be me, other people may not have that problem. Having said that, I feel that it would be quite easy, at the hotel room or caravan park, wherever you stay, to give just the underarm bit just a bit of a wash and to avoid wetting the wool, and I reckon that would prolong it quite well. It's not offensive, it's just that when you compare it to a merino wool, overall merino wool, you do notice the difference. Way better than most synthetic tops, and it is just there. So I think that's pretty easy to deal with. And again, I hesitate in saying they're dislikes, because they're compromises, and the more I've got this garment, the more I get it, and the more I sort of think, if I had a choice, I wouldn't swap that. I'd keep it with the mesh, because to me, that ventilation is a bigger positive than the other, if you know what I mean. And again, the black, whilst not my first colour choice, having had merino wool tops in other colours, I've had blue and yellow, that staining is a relevant thing, and this will solve that. So it's willing to use it. As I said, at Phillip Island, I was out in the hot sun. I actually didn't feel like I was getting too hot in this. It actually worked really well. So look, full disclosure, Altouris did send me this garment. This is a pre-production sample. It doesn't have the logo and things like that. Just for me to test and do a review on it. You may have seen an ad on Facebook or Instagram featuring me doing ad. Yes, that was a scripted ad, just telling you about the features of this garment. This is a review, and these are my thoughts only. I wasn't told what to say, but I'm a big fan of this. Look, it's my thoughts, my opinions. Look, I'll put a link in the description, but please note I don't get any commissions or any further kickbacks if you buy it. But I think it's for those who have a merino wool anyway, takes it to the next level. For those who aren't using merino wool, do yourself a favour and at least give it a go. I hope to catch you on the next one.